When Steel talks, everybody listens.
This is When Steel Talks, and we're very happy to have the opportunity this afternoon to be at the home of Mr. William Jones, the President Emeritus and founder of CASYM Steel Orchestra, based in Brooklyn, New York. Welcome to When Steel Talks, Mr. Jones. We're going to have to get a lot of information from you, but let us know, first of all, what the acronym CASYM stands for. And also, we want to let everyone know that CASYM is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, 2013. Welcome to When Steel Talks. What does CASYM stand for?
Thank you very much for the welcome. It stands for Caribbean American Sports and Cultural Youth Movement. Basically, the name tells you what was in our minds when we decided to form this organization.
Your original vision.
Yes. Coming from the Caribbean, particularly Trinidad, I'm a Trinidadian, let me say that one time. I believe that communication among young people is very successful when you engage them in activities that they like. Mm-hmm. They may not be good at it, but they like it, and they will get together. And in 1970, when I came here with 4 children, I could at a moment's notice find any amount of entertainment, adult entertainment, from my wife and I. However, it was particularly difficult for me to find an environment that will suit my children. We had 4 of them here, 3 girls and a boy.
What were their ages at the time? Approximately.
There were 2 girls who were ready for the job market, mm-hmm. and the youngest girl and the boy, they had to enter the school system. And this seems like distant memory now, but there are some events that happen very early that tells me that I should get involved with organizing around the community where I was, which was on Maple Street, at Crown Heights there.
And there's a focus on youth.
Yes. And one of the things I pride myself in knowing was, I use the word knowing, very knowledgeable, because I was no soccer player. I just like it, and I used to be around it. As a matter of fact, in Trinidad, I had I was the captain of a team. And I am blessed with the good fortune of knowing how to organize. And I decided to start organizing there and then, only to find out that one of the young men who I used to play soccer with in Trinidad was not living too far away from me. And he was one of the architects of a group that's called Five-Borough Soccer League. I don't know if you all know about that.
Sounds familiar. Yeah.
And he, knowing my capability as organizing and managing, brought me into the fold, and we organized one of the biggest soccer programs in Brooklyn. We had about 32 teams from various islands. But my passion was to get the young people involved. When I say young, I'm talking about from age 6 to 16. And they agreed with me that we should have a junior section. However, they were not good caretakers of the youth arm that we had. After about 3 years, every Saturday we used to have about approximately 250 children between the ages 5 and 16. And I expanded this by moving to the Bronx and Long Island to get competition for them. I also investigated the possibility of getting licensed coaches. What we did was, and this gentleman's name would always, he died recently, remain in my mind. Those of you who may know Trinidad good is Rudwin Harris. The Calypsonian name is Relator. That's his brother. And this diagram that I wear on my chest is he designed that. And we together combined to boost the youth section of the FIBO. I had a little disenchantment with FIBO. We weren't funded or anything. I didn't know anything about the system here, how to get registered and things of that nature. All I know in Trinidad, if you want something, you go to your friends and them and you get contributions.
Yeah.
Here was a little different, as I learned a little later on. What I did, I knew about raffles, and I was able, God blessed me with the talent of organization, as I told you, and I organized the parents of those children. And they agreed with me that we should provide for our children. And we had about 1,000 raffles, and each parent were asked to take 100 tickets to sell, so that we would be able to purchase socks and T-shirts for our children. I can remember visiting one of the groups in Long Island, and I didn't feel ashamed, but it made me aware that the people in those places, the Caucasian, they were more concerned about their children than we were. However, there was a gentleman by the name of Carmody, a Trinidadian, who had extended credit to us. My story may sound long, but it's important that people know this. I went to Trinidad one August, because at the time in Trinidad, when you reach my age, I came here when I was about 40. When you're 40 in Trinidad, you ain't looking for school, you're looking for work. And especially if you have wife and children. The opportunity to go to school here, this is one of the things I like here. And I decided to spend some of my time trying to educate myself, and I deviate a bit. But it's important that you know that I met some of the guys on FIBO, and I give them 50 tickets to sell. This is the management of FIBO.
Whereas with the parents, you gave them 100 tickets each.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now the reason I give FIBO 50 tickets, the management is, we didn't have any bank account or things like that. They had bank account. As I said, I didn't know
anything about
the ins and outs of here. So any monies we made, we give it to them, and they bank it. They weren't dishonest with us. So that if we get them $2,000, I could always call and that $2,000 to get it. But what I was disenchanted about was, when I went to Trinidad and came back, and we were about to draw the raffle, believe you me, I got back 50 by 7 tickets, by 7.
Nobody got any tickets.
I was rather offended. I'm not a fella that's curse something, but I could tell you things that would hurt you. This was the opportunity for the divorce between FIBO and me. The parents and they decided, well, they ain't doing nothing for us. Why are we used to call ourselves FIBO youths?
Why you carry their name?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There was a young lady who was living, she had 2 children, right after Allen's Bakery, Bernice Moses.
Right. And she's now the president of CASYM.
Yeah. I had known her in Trinidad because I was always very active in in youth things and cultural things in Trinidad. And I remember recruiting her from a commercial school. And by accident, I met her on Nostrum. And realizing that she wasn't living too far from me, we started to communicate. And her boys, she brought her boys to the soccer program on Saturday. And she was very active. Well, it was somebody I'm familiar with. And as I said, communication with young people, I never had a problem with that. There's a young man by the name of Hayden Davis from Carifta. He is working part-time. He was going to school at Wingate. He joined with me. He loved what was going on. Besides the fact that he loved what was going on, I believe he liked my daughter too. So I had him, and he used to help me all the way. And when we decided to form CASYM, we did, everybody know we as CASYM, they are no Caribbean American. CASYM is the acronym. I decided to go out and compete, because now we had under 8, under 12, under 16 on a Saturday, and Rudwin Harris was one of our coaches, and his children were all involved in the group. And amazingly, up to today, nobody asks about CASYM success in soccer. We were very successful. We didn't win there's a PASL competition run by the precincts. We entered that. We didn't win, but we came third. There was something with the city where the city had some competition. And invariably, we were very successful with soccer. This time I'm talking about 1978, 79. I had no inkling about PAN. But my brother, I have 2 brothers. One is Alan Jones and one is Clyde Herbert. Clyde Herbert is Arden Herbert's father. Alan Jones is still alive, he's here. Well, he and I actually grew up in the same house. So anything I do, he do it, and he was very good with PAN. And in fact, yes, Sandy Gandhi used to call him Slick Rolly. Very good tenor panist. And he was urging me to, and the African drum is very good at that. He is urging me to
include steel pan component.
Not plan, dance.
Okay.
And well, you know, young fella, he had a girlfriend who was very good at dancing in Trinidad, and I had a child, Pearl Jones, who was trained under Barry, not Barry Magoni, but the girl name on. Her surname is Sampson, but she don't carry Sampson. I just always forget that lady name.
Okay.
She used to go Tranquil. And the long and short of it, we started a dance troupe. So we had dance and we had soccer. And all this was for children. At that time, we never recruited anybody over 16. Because me personally couldn't deal with the variation. I think I could have controlled them when they're under 16 and they're going to school, the PS school. And we stick with that for a long period. In the 80s, I think, this guy is dead now. I remember his name just now. We got some pans, some old pans really. And I don't know if you ever heard, you should know in Pan. You heard of Mikey Enoch?
Of course.
Of course, yeah, he's a
Okay.
basic
Mikey Enoch and my brother used to play Pan together. And there's another guy who used to play double second at Invaders, not at Despers. They liked what I was doing with the youths and they encouraged me. They may have been involved, some of them, in the progress of the Pan, but I think they were honest and they tell me that if it was an adult thing, they would have been involved. It was their way of life and mine is a little different. So I appreciate the honesty. You can't play chalk and cheese. You can't pretend you're trying to guide young people and doing the wrong thing. Anyway, in that, Baba is the guy name. You know Baba?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then there's a guy named, I know him as Baby Pierre. Jocelyn Pierre from Trinity Singer in Trinidad. Her brother, his name is Gaston Pierre. He has music all over him. And he loved the idea of dealing with the children. Just around that time, I don't know if I should say this because I hope nobody in trouble. Anyway, we had the good fortune where the Weidecker, Wietka, I won't give you the reasons why they didn't. Carlos called me and asked me if I want some pans. And I said, sure. And my brother encouraged me to take the pans. So we
This
got.
is Alan, right?
Huh?
This is Alan?
Yes, Alan Jones.
Okay.
So we got some new pans. So. And we decided to start in the basement here.
Which you still are practicing right now.
Eh?
And
Yes.
practice still goes on. 30
Yes.
years later, that was
Yes.
a great legacy.
Yes. Well, I have more control in the basement. I've also learned through this journey that there are a lot of people that smile in your face and what apparently they don't like to see you succeed. I have to say that. And one of my weaknesses is that I don't know how to hold back my tongue. I don't curse, but I have learned how to use words wisely to hurt your feelings. And I had some problems with that. However, it didn't damage the group as such. Baby Pierre came in, and you know what happened in 87, 88, almost simultaneously. This is about the time that Sesame Flyers formed their group. And around the same principles. They didn't used to do soccer, but with cultural events. And they had a senior group that was concentrating on carnival and things of that nature. I did not have skill. I know about carnival and I know people that know carnival, but my thing was with the youths. And I wanted to stay there. So that they progressed faster than me, financially that is. Why that is important is because Mr. Gaston Pierre, known as Baby Pierre, was teaching here, and when they decide to bring in Pan in their organization, very honest fella, he told me, he said, listen, I went to school with this guy. They want to form a steel band. I am not going to tell him no, and I'm not going to double dip with you. And whenever I'm ready to leave, I'd let you know. That is Mr. Gaston Pierre telling me that. Well, he did leave, and they say every disappointment there is some good. And as he left, my nephew was doing so well in Trinidad and Pan. As a matter of fact, he born the year I came up here. And he always talking about his uncle in New York. So
This is Arden.
this is Arden. And his father used to encourage him to write me, and so I was following his education. His people don't know that he is a very good athlete also, one of Trinidad top junior at 100 yards. That's just about the time he and his brother came up here for when he was about 7. and they like what they see with the soccer. And when he went back home, he came for a summer vacation, spent the whole summer with me, and they went back. And as time progressed, I started to find out his improvement in pan, and father came to Invaders, and he was doing very well. Of course, I couldn't wait on him. I had my brother doing the little thing here, but my brother wasn't in his class where music was concerned. My brother was from the old time fashion. You hear and you pick up. But he did very well. As a matter of fact, there are two songs that CASYM plays right now that I would never encourage them to stop playing it. This is Stand By Me and In the Mood. Those were arranged by my brother and Mr. Gaston Pierre. And that stay with us
To this day, 30
to
years
this day.
later.
As we move along now, here comes Arden Herbert at age 18. He had just won some at the festival, some in Trinidad, and when he came up here, didn't come to stay, come for vacation. I Trinidad, and I just take my chances. Which is that at the Apollo? How do you call it? Is Night at the Apollo?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I took him there to play, and he played well, very well. So when it's time for him to go back to school, he went back to school. Then I got the message from them that he had won.
Ah.
So he came back. I bring him up. Well, you know, he didn't want to stay in Trinidad at all, no. And it was a tug-of-war between my brother, his wife, and me. The wife didn't want her child to go away. Yeah, she last child, you know.
Mhm.
But she and I used to go down well, so we eventually got him up here. And let me deviate here. One of the things I always find at the then time in Trinidad is, if you could play cricket, if you're a good cricketer,
The world.
you used to get scholarship
Yeah, the world was your oyster. Mhm.
to go to this college and that college. And the pan man then, he gained nothing, and I mean nothing. This guy sang a calypso that was so on point, talking about Francisco, because he and I was good friends too. Sparrow. I remember the year when, I think it was 62, maybe, no, not 50, 62, no, maybe about 57, when he won the crown. And he saw, when he made his calypso, and he did not go to the competition in the savannah because they was gaining the queens and them big money and big opportunity, and the Calypsonian and other people weren't getting the equivalent amount of recognition and money. That spurred me on here. I started talking to some people in the government in Trinidad, because when I left there, I left Trinidad as a trade unionist. As I said, I always like organizing.
Uh-huh.
And I started talking to them to find out why. By now, you know, I was a PNM. And the lady that was helping me with groups in Trinidad was a lady named, she's there now, Elizabeth Tishy. And I was trying for her to get a scholarship, or to introduce scholarship in the pan world. What they did know, and I would always say this, one of the best organizers and leaders you have in any institution in Trinidad, you could find them in the pan yard. Some of them have degrees, some of them don't. The type of, when you have a friend, a pan man as a friend, I'm talking amongst themselves, the type of interest they pay with each other it's amazing. It went to a length where it was becoming destructive. And I can remember being asked, at that time I had a group, I've deviated a bit, what I did personally, because the group didn't have any money then, but under the group's name, I was able to give Arden Herbert a scholarship from this group, and his mandate was, because of I had his history and know what he was about, and I had this urge and this idea that pan is not just knocking up pan, that you should know music. I knew music, and I told him also, because I knew of his background in the cadets, that the group should be created by his own image. I was looking at a young man, not as my family, now as a young man who was...
As a role model.
Yes, who was in school. I'm so sure he lived up to who was in school and was very adept in his music.
And also in sports. So he was a very good role model.
He was very good in sports. As a matter of fact, I tried to get him to get a scholarship from the Boys High here. It didn't succeed. Anyway, he came up and he took control of the steel band. At the time, I had known Joyce coming up from home, and she actually introduced me to the Daily News, John Campy.
Right.
This is a guy who had loved pan. This is a guy who, when he talk about Trinidad, he said they don't know the gem that they have. I listened a lot, and he decided to sponsor us. But when you use the word sponsor, there's no comparison like in Trinidad. What he was talking about, he was fascinated with how the band was playing and how we had a variety of tunes and things of that nature. And at the same time, I was just starting to, whenever we go and play anyway, any little money we get put on, and we had suggested that every high school child that's in the band should get a little grant, a little $500 when they're going off to school. And when Mr. John Campy, to this day some people tell me I was stupid, but I don't think I was. When Mr. John Campy come and tell me that he can give me $12,000 a year, and whenever he asks us to play, he'll ask us to play in various functions. I agreed. However, this is what he wanted. What I wanted from him is that, particularly young Panorama, that he will pay for the tuning of the pans. And whenever, as we go out for him and anything wrong with the pans, he helped us kind of repair the pan. He agreed. And I eventually got him to agree that every child that graduates that's in the steel band from high school, going on to college, should get at least $1,000. And it worked fine. But what he didn't know, the band at that time, CASYM was very large. Yeah, when you invite CASYM to go and play, you aren't getting 10 and 12. You're getting 30 up. And so in the first instance, some of the children still talk about it. It wasn't $12. I checked it there. He is coming up with anything like $40,000 a year. But I got the $40,000 differently. Rather than saying, give me $40,000. And I always, to this day, always insist on education for our children. As I said earlier on, when the children is young, you have a chance to guide them. And I use that as the mode. One of the greatest organizing tool that we have here is the steel band. most, about 75 to 80% of the children that join the band, most of them join from age 6, 7 or 8, and they stay in the band. Today I watch some of them, not only did they come at 8 and 9 and 10, their child is there in the group now.
And we're going to be talking about that not too long from now. We want to touch on that.
Yeah, and so what we establish what I should call an environment in my mind's eye, because I was lucky to have a wife who will tolerate what I will do. These children, I had opened, my basement downstairs was free to them to come anytime and recreate.
It was a holistic experience based around youth.
Yes, and by the way, let me just backtrack. One of the things that I encouraged also was when we decided to the plan take over everything in CASYM. All the programs we had a program that we used to call Drop-In Lodge, where Mr. Kendall Stewart used to give us a space on 39th Street, and on Thursday, you all must know about Charles Barron.
Mm-hmm.
I knew him. I used to get him to come down there on a Thursday and teach the young people. My age bracket move up now. But when fellas like Travis come in, it was difficult to keep them on. As a young man, I would always respect, very respectable fella. You get punished in CASYM, and I ain't going to talk about that. Anyway, there's a group of them from Prospect Heights that came across. And why this is significant, the first school that I don't know about us that gave a credit in music is Prospect Heights. My daughter was teaching there. Travis was in the band at the time. And all those guys that was in the group there, Tisha Chapman, who now teaches at My 11, is My 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has his own group now. Is a talented group of young people that came into the group at that time at a bigger age. They didn't come at 10 and 11. They come at 17, 18 and 19. And I had, at that time I wasn't so old then, and I had voice. If I used to say, if you don't like what's going on here, get to hell out. I should tell parents that if you don't like what we're doing here, take your child and go. I kind of rule with a iron fist. No, I wasn't.
You would call it more. It was blunt.
Huh?
It was blunt.
Yes.
To the point.
Yeah.
And that was what it
And
was.
I had the cooperation of most of the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is, parents start to use CASYM as a means of punishment to the children. If they do something right home, you ain't going to practice.
It always works with Pan.
And it worked.
Yeah.
There are some friendship that has been solidified in CASYM. It's amazing to see them. You know, my joy is not winning the Panorama, because we win Panorama already. Around Panorama time, I will sit in the yard there and watch people in the band that I knew when they were there at 10 and 11. And they come
or younger.
Yes, and they hug one another. No animosity. I mean, everybody didn't like everybody.
Yeah,
but you had a unanimity amongst them, boys and girls. Well, I know what they used to do, but I like how they embraced each other. And to this day, let me say, as the president sits there, you know, we still have that, you know, one for all and all for one. My only, and it's not a regret, disappointment is that it has not, we haven't a place where we can carry on our various programs. I checked.
An actual center, a physical
Yes.
center.
I checked recently from that program I told you about with John Campy, 52 children, 52 that and I sure missed some, went on to college and get a bachelor's or higher. you know. And I just feel proud of that. It's nice to jump up and hear the tunes and then play, and I feel nice about that too. But to know you're able to, together with your parents, steer some children from doing negative things is a nice feeling. Very, very nice. That's what keeps me a young boy.
So what are some of your proudest moments? I mean, you have a wealth gathered over the years, but do you have a specific moment that's been your proudest in memory regarding CASYM, or specific moments that you want to touch on?
Well, as I said, the education.
Okay.
The education piece, where, take for instance, and I have a prime example. I knew Michelle Williams when she was 10 years old. She came into the group to do dancing. And Michelle has stuck with this group till today. If I'm not mistaken, in the very near future, Michelle would be a vice principal. She has not deviated from the course of educating herself and knowing how to enjoy. Those moments are very, very special to me. And I'll tell you one thing. She is not afraid to tell Josie, I ain't like what you do. It has something that's always measured. Under Allen Herbert, the group became what you will call chauvinistic. Each boy that reached the age to hold a driver's license were taught how to drive. And I never forget the day when we will come and tell, wait a minute. So it's only boys that don't know how to drive. No, you see girls driving the truck and all kind of thing. You know, those moments to me is very special. You could say things and protest about things without being rude or without being offensive. I would listen to Michelle with anything that she said. She's the pride and joy of my heart. And not because he's here too. I have seen them hold him back. He should be captain years before. But you know, when you have a group of friends and you know how to manipulate, as I said, as an organizer, I used to stay out of that. They bring the age thing to keep him out of being captain. Because our captain then was never older than 18, you know. A fellow named Kendall Alexander. And the year that he would have won captain, they gang up on him. I knew about it, but I stayed out. I let them handle their business. And you talk about proud moment. When my daughter told me that Prospect Heights is using our program, our music program, as a how do you call it? Is it
as a model?
No,
as a pilot program?
You just go to when you get points for your
credits. The music credits.
Yes, as a music credit. I felt very, very good about that. You understand?
Indeed. So why do you think that generally Pan in New York hasn't gone further to date? What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that, it's simple. Selfishness. One-track mind. Some of them just see the Pan as winning panorama. And if you look at the panorama price or what any band have the cost of going to panorama, it doesn't make sense and they can't see it. I made a little effort. I was unsuccessful because the pride and joy of my heart is CASYM. And when there started to be conflict, I back out. I don't know if you knew when I was president of that organization. The umbrella organization. I always, I have good friends, and when they tell me, because I started to ask them to hold lecture groups. I am not a very educated man, but I have a lot of common sense, and I realize you can't run with the hounds and the hares. And something that was happening when I went, I shifted a little bit, when I went and fans were having problems to get place to practice before Panorama. And I happened to get to know a guy, Mr. Reeves. Mr. Reeves was working in the Board of Ed, and a Bajan. He loved Pan. And I carried Tisha there with me when I was negotiating with him. Reeves wanted Pan in the schools.
That was going to be.
It's a shame, I still think about it. We were able to get 15 schools to start through Mr. Reeves. He bought Pan for all of us. He asked me to relay to the Pan groups that he will get space for them on certain hours if they will make a contribution to us developing, because he belonged to District 17. Okay. I did that. I don't know if they felt I was getting too powerful. And when I started here, I listened to Old Talk Outside. And I don't think I needed that. So I went in a meeting just like that, and I tell him, I quoted Eric Williams, like a bridge over troubled waters, I lay me down. Because it didn't worth it. And why I say is selfishness and one trap. The bands that were doing well then, and it's only recently they start to mix and mingle.
That's because the generations have changed and the younger people.
Yeah, the only band used to do good was sonatas. And the other band, there's another band. And sonatas was doing well because coming from Trinidad, they had BWI helping them. Bands were getting help. If they had taken the course that we had taken, they would have helped me too. If they had got together as a group and plan an attack, when I say attack, how to organize into the schools. Because I am now learning that the appreciation for Pan is between 8, 9, and 10. When you reach the junior high school, you have problems unless you have a teacher involved in the school in there. I think we had, and two, one of the things that happened is we always cutting our nose and spoiling your face. What's the guy name? I don't want to call any name anyway. Fella take money from Mr. Reeves to run a program. The program ran, yes, but at the end of the time, the guys who were teaching in the school had to go to Mr. Reeves and say they ain't getting no money. You know, they're penny smart. There's still a lot of them around, and you know something? I am blessed with good that I get it, that I'm aged and I can remember things. But they should really age and get out. You need the younger fellas now. You understand? And it's not the younger fellas. You have to recruit a group of young people who have an appreciation for the art. People don't know how wonderful this instrument is.
Appreciation and passion, because with the
That's the
amount
word.
of
That's the
challenges
word. That's
that
the word.
one can encounter, you can't just have an appreciation. You really need the passion, which is what a lot of people in CASYM have. For instance, you have Travis, and you have Rico, and you have Michelle, and all the other people's names, and the Danglade young ladies. I mean, you have so many of CASYM's people.
I have to give some credit to art.
And all the names that I'm forgetting. I mean, this is important. And talk about the progress of CASYM's outreach into schools, because CASYM is and has been a significant part of Pan in New York's education system.
Yes. One of the things, as I said, I pride myself, and I learned this in Trinidad. At my union, I have learned how to organize. And there are various ways in organizing, and I use some of those methods. And whenever we go anywhere, I used to, one of the things I used to do, and it worked. The young adults if we in a crowd that is a big crowd, I get them to, I ain't taking the plaudits, I let them get up and talk. And especially if we go in an environment where school environment, and when they hear how these, because people still use it, even today, people still look as pan as a, not as an instrument. I mean, not many, but
The stigma is still attached in
it's
some
still
cases.
there.
Yeah.
And the only person to get rid of that is we. And it can be done. People like Travis and people his age now, taking time off and dealing with the younger ones, letting them know what is important. It's not just an oil drum and throw it there. Like when Syracuse some years ago, Trinidad had a festival up there and they wanted a band to represent them, and I was lucky enough, they called CASYM, and I went up there. So I gone up there, we couldn't pay the transportation. Use Amtrak, the train. So we set up the pans and thing up there. So I think we reached up before the pans. Nah, the pans was up there before you. So I find we ain't getting this pan at all, so we go on down the service station. And I asked the guy, I said, some instruments supposed to be here.
You didn't know what you were talking about.
And they're not here. It's as a matter of fact, it's right since yesterday. See,
Instruments.
she ever take any baggage and come here, let it go. As the man opened the door, I see the pants. I tell him, I say, but look at here. He say, you mean them garbage cans?
That is still a current reality.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been up at MIT campus,
Yeah.
Massachusetts Institute of Technology, one of the premier places. And it's interesting, one of the comments of the students passing by, oh, trash can music.
Yes.
And these are from educated people, so that is still very much prevalent. It has not gone away. Has not gone away. It's indeed.
The younger people today have a little more appreciation for the pan.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always marvel is that, not marvel to me no more because I come from the home of pan. A steel orchestra can play any classic because they have all the components in the orchestra. But people don't realize that. And these guys have been from 1962, 62? Yeah, in the 60s. They move by leaps and bounds.
It's interesting because that's a good segue, because now you have the earliest generations of CASYM, the little people who have grown up over the years. They themselves now are educators and parents. They remain involved in CASYM, and now their offspring are attending and part of their parents' cultural and sports and educational alma mater in the 30th anniversary of the organization. Talk about what you see as CASYM's legacy, building on such a rich and challenging background over the years.
Earlier on I told you that when I came here, I didn't know the system. And to some aspect, the progress wasn't as rapid as I thought it should be. I am seeing now where the present generation of people, I am not asking anybody to be a politician, but I am asking them to know the politician. We are doing a big service in this community.
It's musical excellence and serving the community.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you, a prime example of that is, you look at around July to September, You go in those pan yards and see how many. As a matter of fact, I don't have to tell you to do that because I use some of your clippings. You have some clippings that you have of us. It's exactly what is necessary. Let people see. Politicians have to crave to come by us. Some of them come. Some of them. I know a particular politician who climbed on our backs to get elected. Call himself the Godfather. And one of the things that may be wrong with CASYM at the then time was me, because I will tell you how I feel about what you do. And it happened, and I kind of lose his patronage at a certain time. We talk now. I hate people to use young people, and that's what it's doing. As you say, that what I would like to see them get involved in the political system, not necessarily be politician, but get to know who doing what.
To understand it.
Understand it. Because for every child that is out there are two parents. And the politician is count votes.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, CASYM have never had less than 60 children throughout the year, constantly coming. So what we talking about here? 60 by 2. And them have, you understand? And it's much more than that. What I'm saying is, we can be more politically effective. I don't want nobody to run for position. I want us to get the type of recognition where, I was so amazed. I started to call them now. I was looking for a tune there. The tune is called A Mother's Love. Not the one by Sparrow. There's some calypso there that sung A Mother's Love, and the one that I always remember, as Travis said, I always remember, it was this guy, the fellow name is Protector. And the words in that, I would never forget. Some of the words. A mother's love you must not forget. Wrong things you do, you're bound to regret. You can have a lot of friends in society. You can have diamond, ruby, and gold, but a mother's love is the greatest thing in this world. If we can create this type of atmosphere with our children in the society, one of the things I would like to do presently, but I don't have the energy, I think there are some politicians around. The only time we hear from them is if they want, you can send 2 pioneers to play for me. I like doing it for them, you know. But it goes further than that. Why a child have to take a gun to shoot a child? Something is wrong. Communication. Where is the communication? And I would say this, the Steel Band fraternity have an opportunity to change that. But they don't take, and most of them wouldn't take it's their responsibility. And it's not hard to change. I'm sitting here and the comfort of my home saying this, it's not hard to change. What is necessary, if you don't talk and conversate, if I meet you, as I know you, and I say, good morning, good afternoon, you will smile and say good morning, good afternoon. But if I meet you and I pass you and I have my face serious, the next time I have my face serious,
yeah, it builds, it fosters ill feeling.
All I am saying is create an atmosphere where they will talk to each other and where they can iron out their differences.
Or where at least there's an opening for an opportunity to do that.
I was calling on Jumani Williams the other day, and for some reason he didn't want to meet with me. I don't know what. I don't know if you think I was asking for funds, but it wasn't. I had Travis get some of the young people under 18. It was about 12 of them. I had some of them sit here. And I was going to hold a youth conference. Fellas, I don't like to eat. Buy something for them in the evening. Let them see how nice it is to be with one another. Take from Flatbush, take from Crown Heights. The politicians can do that. Earlier on when I was talking, I didn't tell you that at my age then, 40 something, I used to go to citizens committee sitting among them Caucasian, and you learn a lot from them. A woman called me there, the 20 years I know her. She called me because she wanted the band to play. What's your name, boy? Travis. And the first thing she told me, you remember I am the first person that got a grant for you. I didn't mind she telling me that because the grant didn't help me. It's the people that I met there that I keep on calling and I get to find out various things about the system.
Networking, connectivity.
Networking. And they have it in the steel band. There are some young people in the steel band that I know who could do very well with that. You know, you don't have to be vexed with each other. If you don't like one another, we don't like one another. I just want you to go here, go on the computer there and do what I can do.
What is the future for CASYM?
The future for CASYM is to get a building where they will be able to go and not only develop plan history or have recorded what they have done, but what others in the field have done, so that you will have a pathway of progression in the steel steel fraternity, steel band fraternity. You only imagine how much intelligent guys there are around, and particularly Antu, I would like to see women take a more active role.
Mr. Williams Jones, affectionately known as we began as when we said Jonesy of CASYM, founder of CASYM's organization. It's been really great to have this opportunity to sit down with you, to hear how CASYM came about and talk about how it was built on your shoulders, but also with the support of the resources of the parents and the children and community who have been with you throughout the years. 30 years is a magnificent milestone with any organization, and when PAN has been a significant component, indeed it is even more so. So we want to say congratulations once more again. We wish all prosperity to CASYM, the organization, because where CASYM succeeds, the entire community and especially the youth will succeed and grow even more. 30 more years and even beyond is what we wish for you. Thank you for giving When Steel Talks the privilege of sharing the background and the vision of CASYM with the global steel pan community, and we wish you very, very many more. Happy 30th anniversary.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and I do hope when you sit down with it, at that time I'll be sitting down upstairs watching the present president having CASYM in all the schools in the district, and I think it's very possible because there are principals that are reaching out to us now. You had asked a question earlier on about my vision. I want to see they use the recorder in school for music. I would like to see the steel band being used for music in the schools.
Okay. Well, When Steel Talks is here, and we will be very pleased to continue sharing with the global community what CASYM accomplishes. Thank you very much.
Okay.
When Steel talks, everybody listens.